Welcome to an incomplete guide to personal growth. We invite you to take a breath and take a listen to our podcast that explores the wonder, humor, challenges, and sometimes those self-inflicted wounds on the journey of personal growth.
Our weekly podcast conversations include stories, resources, and tools that you can incorporate into your daily life. We're the mother-daughter duo of Sydney West
and Kelly Arundel.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, Sydney.
How are you?
Good.
We're trying to be
festive. I saw you had your green on, and so I had to dig through my closet. I don't have a lot of red. I know.
It's almost Christmas.
I know. So I thought, well, if you got green, I got to find something. And my greens were weird, and then it was like, well, this has some red.
Exactly. So this is like our one kind of spiritual episode for the Christmas season, which is good.
I think we pepper spirituality in all of them. People may not name it that.
Probably.
Because all things are sacred. Okay. Sorry.
Before we get into that, I wanted to be a very real person and mom and express our traveling with a 2-year-old.
Yes.
So we took a flight to Dallas, visit some family, and flight there was fine. He was good,
so good,
but he had a nap, so that's good.
Yeah.
And then he was fine sleeping in the hotel room. I'm not made for co-sleeping. That was awful. And so it gets to be like a few days later and we're flying back. So I think he already had a lot of overload from not sleeping well and a lot of stimulation, very tired.
Yeah.
And we were kind of traveling during his nap time, which I thought would mean he would sleep on the plane.
Yeah.
Of course not.
He did really well.
He
all
did.
The way
he really
there,
did. He really did.
Until it was time, because he's 2 and you have to have his own ticket, he's supposed to sit in his seat during takeoff and landing. He did great during takeoff.
Yes, and then it comes to landing. And he's already been out of his seat. He doesn't want to go back in his seat.
Yeah.
And that was I know. And so and the flight up to Dallas, the flight attendant cared and he was like, you got to put him in a seat. So I did that.
Yeah.
So this time that's my mindset. This child is screaming, fighting me. Oh my God. Then he starts biting because that's just how he expresses his anger because he's 2. And so he literally draws blood. Yeah. And I just don't know because it's not in a situation where I can just set him down and walk away.
Either.
You're in this confined.
No, and you can't move. You can't take him to a new location to reset.
No,
you can't
you're
do
in
any
this
of
confined
that.
space and he is screaming.
Yes.
And so I finally just gave up trying to put him in his own seat. And luckily the flight attendants, I think, heard him anyway and decided not to care.
On this flight, they didn't care. So you don't know. No. So you probably, if you had never started setting him down,
he probably would have
been fine through the whole thing.
Fine.
And so it was that separation.
Mom and Dad are sitting across the aisle. So Dad comes over, sits next to me, and takes Charles. And it's just like holding him back because he doesn't want Charles to bite me. And he just needs that.
He's just hugging him,
he is holding him. Yeah. In a nice, firm way, which is good. It's just funny because Dad is the type of person, he's nice to families on planes. And understandably, I get you don't want to be the person right next to the screaming child. I get it. But then he's the one that's literally having to hold the screaming child on an airplane.
I think he gave him some irony. And to give him some perspective of what happened. Yes. This is just life. This is a 2-year-old.
And he was and in the moment, Dad was very understanding. He didn't make me feel bad. Of course it was good.
This is just what happens.
Yeah. But it's just funny. It's like the guy who is nice to families but wants to be far away.
Yeah.
is stuck in the middle of it.
Is in the midst. Yeah.
But he did great and we made it. And then Charles calmed down on the ride home and went to sleep.
He was fine.
But it was like the most just mortified. Not that I care what other people think, but in the middle of it, you're just like, I can't control my kid. And you just feel so powerless. You're like, I can't help him in any way.
Once they get, it's any 2-3-year-old, whatever, that gets past that point.
Yes.
And
there's
he was
no turning
tired
back.
And he just wanted to be held.
Yes.
And when he couldn't, it upset him.
Wild.
So he acted like a 2-year-old.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was, oh my gosh. I was like holding back my tears so much.
You were. I know.
Awful. So if anybody else experiences any sort of crying child on their holiday travel, you best be praying for those parents.
Yeah, it's right.
That's who you need to think of.
Yeah.
because they don't want to either.
Yeah, because he really enjoyed it, and he wants to get back on a plane. Go figure.
Oh, I know, right? So that's our dose of reality this week. And then, moving on.
Yeah.
So we picked this topic. Our topic is like light, hope, that stuff like that, meaning that is in Advent. But we wanted
Advent being the time of preparation before the birth of Christ.
Yes, before
in the Christian calendar,
yes.
it's the 4 weeks they measure it. But anyway, before we celebrate Jesus's birth. Yeah.
And so if you're not fully into Christianity, or you have issues with the church or whatever, that's just not your denomination, that's not your belief. We wanted to make this episode in a way where if you're seeing family for Christmas and you're having to be in a space that you're not always comfortable, or you can still approach the service, you can still approach the time in a way that can have meaning for you. And because all of us can learn something from a time of anticipation, a time of light, a time of hope, and so taking it from that perspective. So not necessarily, humdrum Christian take on the birth of Jesus Christ. It is, let's take this time of the year that's usually darkness and find light in it for yourself, is kind of the take.
Yeah, because even if you are Christian, there are some Christmases where it's hard to attend a service.
Yeah.
Or you're just not, quote, into it, or you're going to a service that's different than what you would be if you were going to your own church.
Yeah.
Because it's family.
Yeah.
And diversity. So, there's...
Yeah. So, as Mom said, so Advent is like this. Advent, the word comes from Latin and is like arrival or coming is what it means. And in our denomination, it's like you have the 4 Sundays of Advent: hope, peace, joy, and love. Yeah. And then you have the Christ candle. Yeah, the white one. And so but I think through hope, peace, joy, and love, it's all about where's the light, through all of it in my, my interpretation. So let's just get into it. Okay. If you're going to a service that you either just don't generally attend or you're just kind of doing it for family, what's like a mindset, or what can we be trying to get out of that time?
Yeah. First, I think, I don't always start with this, is looking inward. Why is it difficult? Maybe you were brought up in a Christian faith, but it lost meaning, or you had a bad experience that was hurtful. And so it's painful to attend, to acknowledge that. Maybe your beliefs have shifted and you're needing new language, but you're going to go to a church that says the same thing. One of the things that has helped me is if I stop and think, okay, this is a gift. I'm going to attend as a gift. Yeah. This may not be my type of service, but I will attend. And I'm going to step aside and kind of look at, I wonder what this family member or whatever it may be, I wonder why this is so important to them. What in this message strikes them? So I'm listening for somebody else. Yeah. And going, oh, this is going on in their life and they need this message. Or this is important to them because of past family members. Maybe this song means something to them. I can remember, and I can step back and say, I remember sitting in church with my grandmother and singing this. Okay. Yeah. It's about the relationship with my grandmother. And it's bigger than that. Yeah.
It's better. I like that. Get curious rather than, get defensive or turn off. It's like try and engage in a different way.
Right. Yeah. And what are my truths about what I know about Jesus? He was about inclusion, not exclusion. Yeah. He was about bringing the people in the margin into the center and being with them. So, and I used to, you look around any Sunday really, but on Christmas when families are sitting together and you're like, there's not one family here who hasn't had pain. Yes. And so I don't know what theirs is at this moment. They might not have any. This may be their perfect Christmas because we've had those. Yeah. And others aren't. And so it's kind of stepping aside. And I can remember one, I'm going to tell, it was one Christmas when I know you were in Oklahoma doing your choir stuff. Kent and Jennifer, who live in Denton area, were gone.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was Paul, Lauren, and I, and my mom and dad. And Mom, we got to go to the Christmas Eve service.
Always.
And so we had gotten there, and I don't know, I wasn't in a particularly good mood. It was just a cranky Christmas, and not the kind with the cranks, but, but it was just good. And so, but we were sitting there, and all of a sudden this other family, we were in a pew, and this other family starts sitting down and literally squeezed us out. Lauren, who was adult at that time, was basically having to sit on Paul's lap.
Oh my
They just kept pushing, and this is a large family, and they just kept pushing.
So rude.
And so Paul looked and goes, "I'm not doing this."
No.
Lauren, let's go to the balcony. I'm like, and I'm going to sit here with Mom and Dad. I was like, what are you doing? And I'd look up in the balcony, and they'd be smiling. They're having a great time. And I was sitting down there going, this was not the picture I had in my mind for tonight. And we were singing, kid you not, we were singing "O Little Town of Bethlehem." I'll never forget it. It's not my favorite song. I don't know why. I think they drag it sometimes.
Oh, they do. They get it. But anyway, slow. Yeah.
We were singing it, and this was the mystery of all mysteries. I saw a light that just came right into me.
That's so cool.
And I was like, looking around to see if anybody else saw it. And it's like, okay.
No.
It's not about the light being out there. It's within us.
That's so good.
I truly believe that we all carry that light. Yeah. I thought, Kelly, you have the light.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you are, where you're sitting, who's with you. Mm-hmm. If this isn't what you planned, the light is within.
It's so
and
good.
Whatever that light represents for you, to me, it's the spirit. It's that we're all born with, this divine light. That we all have a spark of the divine in us. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't honoring that, and I was forgetting it, and it was a great reminder. Really weird, and made me just stand there for a minute and going, what
the
heck just happened? But I have weird stuff like that. That's so cool. But anyway, it just takes you out of that moment of, this isn't just about me.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's about others.
Mm-hmm.
And gathering. I can find some form of meaning no matter where I go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the question. Can I find meaning in this?
Yes. Oh, I love that. So so Christians view this light as literally Jesus, baby Jesus. And he's the light in the world, going to guide us, Mm-hmm. And you kind of touched on this with your last answer, but it's like, even for me, sometimes it's like, really, this baby? I'm going to say he's the light of all creation and humanity. I mean, yes, but for those, and I can get on board with that, but there are a lot of people who can't. There are a lot of people that don't get on board with that, which is fine. So, and you kind of, the light is in us.
I do believe. What does that light represent?
Yes.
For Christians, for some Christians, others
not.
But there's a broad band here. Yeah. But for Christians, Jesus represented newness.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, he was a radical baby when he was around.
Of course, we're going to focus on the baby because there's nothing more pure.
Yeah, than a baby.
Than this baby being born, right? And I'm guessing, and I hope I don't get in trouble, but I'm guessing as a 2-year-old, he probably pitched a fit. I'm guessing with his siblings, he probably had little rows here and there, and acted as
a kid.
Because he was human.
Yeah.
The spark of the divine.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not going to get into theology, but he was. He represents this light, and he was.
Yeah.
He was truly a light.
Yeah.
And I believe we all are light. Mm-hmm. Or we have that opportunity. Yeah. So light, what is light? It represents hope. It's if you're when you wake up at night, if you sleep in a very dark area, when you open your eyes, what do? You try to adjust.
Yeah.
And see, where is there a crack of light? Mm-hmm. And you slowly get up. If you, like me, I'm going to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night or something, or,
yes,
whatever that may be. You slowly get up and adjust. Mm-hmm. But you look for the slightest light.
Yeah.
Okay? Mm-hmm. And this is no matter.
Yeah.
There's And that's what light represents to me. We all have an opportunity to offer light in our lives to others. And maybe it helps if we look at how others have offered us light.
Yeah.
Sometimes it helps me to look, oh, that's what that is. That's the light. Maybe it's this person that sent us a text when we needed to laugh, or a smile when we didn't have one, or needed to laugh, or were patient with us when we were really being impatient and really struggling with something.
Yeah.
Maybe they saw us when we thought we couldn't be seen. They came beside us. There was a story that a person close to me could not see any light in the world. Was in a dark place, which is not unusual. We all get
we all get there.
But this other person came along beside her and said, well, I'll sit with you in the dark. Well, if you don't think that's not a light.
Yeah.
That was nothing. It was sitting. Yeah. But that was the light that was shed.
That was needed. Yeah.
So it's somebody that offers you hope when you don't have any. Doesn't tell you false things, but just sits with you in your darkness.
Yeah.
It's somebody that provides the laugh when you need one, or helps you see the silliness of life.
Yes.
It's not huge.
Yeah. And so a lot of Advent too, so it's this light, but it's this anticipation. Yes. Oh my gosh, like every service that you go to before the Christmas Eve, it's all about waiting, anticipation, all that stuff. And so so let's say we're not really focused on Jesus' birth aspect of it, focused on the light. What can we spiritually receive from this anticipation?
Okay. And this is every Advent.
Yeah.
During this time, and it wouldn't be a bad practice throughout the year, but during this time, I think to myself, and it is somewhat of a ritual to go, I wonder how I'm going to be surprised this year. Every year I seem really probably it's because I actually asked that and I'm waiting for it. One year during Advent, I was really feeling alone. And I thought I didn't want to be at church, but I went. I worked there. So
so you had to go.
But I went and I sat by myself, and I sat in a different place than I usually sit because I just didn't want to be around all the people I'm usually around. And maybe I was making myself be alone. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I did, and I sat. And shortly before the service started, this family came and sat beside me. And 2 months early, maybe not even 2 months early, they had lost a teenage son in a car accident.
Wow.
And they sat beside me. And for some reason, I thought, you're not alone. Nobody's alone. They just lost their here.
Yeah.
And it just struck me that in my aloneness, I'm looking around and this other family comes along and sits beside you.
Yeah.
And it's, everybody has stuff, Kelly. Everybody has stuff. You're not alone.
Yeah.
And so that one. And then there was another one where a past person that I had worked with, she was not on staff. She was a volunteer at another church and had, I thought, kind of a yucky experience and was hoping one day to be able to rectify that. Didn't attend this church, but she came and sat in front of me. And I thought, well, here's your chance. And it was a lovely conversation.
Fun. Yeah.
But I'd look for little surprises.
That's
to
cool.
where
I
I'm
didn't
going
know
to
that.
see that.
What?
Yeah, I do. So every
clue.
year I wait and I think, wonder what this surprise is going to be this year. And it's not all big. It's sometimes just small recognition of I'm not alone.
And I think by asking yourself that question, then you automatically become more aware of
where am I going to see
things.
light in the world?
Yeah.
It's maybe that person that let me merge on the interstate when it was frantic, when I was a frantic time.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't. It's small light. You think, okay, when electricity goes out, well, before our phones, what would we do? We have candles.
Yeah.
And a small candle provides a lot of light. And that's a reminder that it's the small It's small light.
I like that. How will I be surprised?
How will I be surprised this year?
So fun.
And we can do that.
Yeah.
We can ask ourselves every week even.
Yes. Yeah.
Wonder what surprises that this
and I
world
think,
holds.
I mean, and for some, it's like, this month could be feeling really dark down, you know? And you can get into that loop of like despair and stuff. But I think, if you ask yourself the simple question of how am I going to be surprised, even when you maybe only half mean it,
yes,
you'll probably still find, some light in there. Mm-hmm.
And then how am I going to be a light to others? How am I going to move in this world during this time? And again, it's the small things, letting somebody, if you see somebody in line, letting them go first because they seem to have a lot more stuff, or they've got a kid that's screaming, or they've got something else going on. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Little how am I going to be a light?
Definitely.
How am I going to offer somebody hope?
Yeah. I love that. It's kind of good. I feel like that, I mean, in the end, Advent and all this light stuff, it does happen in like, for, our Northern Hemisphere, like the darkest, literally time of the year.
Time, the shortest,
the shortest days and all. Yeah.
So there is, and there's expectations of what it should be, what it's not, or maybe you're different faith. All faiths use light as the symbol.
Yeah, they do.
The oil that one day's oil lasted 8 nights. So they celebrate that. Yeah. There's light.
And Kwanzaa uses candles too.
I mean, there's all. It's just this time of year that we tend to focus on it, and I think we all have this spark within us.
Yeah.
And whatever it is, we're all connected in some way. There's a thread that runs through.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
Yeah.
So hopefully, even if let's say Christianity isn't your thing, but you can still find some spiritual meaning going to probably family events that, even if you don't always agree with it, you can still, for yourself, get something out of it.
Yeah. Looking to see why is this meaningful to somebody else?
Yeah.
What is there you'll find something.
Find something out. Yeah.
Because as soon as we look outward, we begin to see differently.
Yeah.
I think.
Definitely. Do you have any good?
I do. I was thinking because
poems.
I do, and I'm going to say this because I'm. Youth. I'm sorry for the silence. A youth contacted me recently, and anyway, I'm going to be doing a service for. Actually, the doctor is Dr. Robert Stockberger, who was my OBGYN, and
for me and Lauren,
tried to deliver you, but you came early, and then he was out of town, but to deliver Lauren. And he passed away recently, and I was talking to her about his life and using the symbol of light as we talked about it. Is he really saw what he did. He did out of this love, and he was a fantastic. He worked with welfare patients. He helped
people
with
that needed
adoption
it.
and other things that went on. He really was a light. And so I think his light continues through me, through you, whether you know it or not. I mean this, and so I found this poem, and it's by Emily Dickinson, short. If I can stop one heart from breaking, I shall not live in vain. If I can ease one life the aching, or cool one pain, or help one fainting robin unto its nest, I shall not live in vain. It's about doing one small thing. It's not about saving the world. It's about easing the pain of one thing, of one parent standing in line and letting them go first. Makes the shift. It's those small things that help people be seen. I see you in your hurt. I see you in your joy. You made me laugh. Somebody said to me with my improv thing, oh, whatever my sister did, I thought you were funny. They didn't have to share that.
No, but they did.
But they did. It's saying to somebody, I saw you.
Yeah.
And not like, I saw you. but I saw you.
Yes,
I see
yes.
you.
Yeah,
And that's lovely to me.
And you're thinking using that poem, right? For
yes, you know,
for the funeral.
And there's one other thing that I'm going to say it's in scripture in Psalm 139. There's a line that says, even darkness is as light to you.
Yes.
God. And I love that because when my darkest times, I think you see dark, but there's light. But there is light.
Yeah.
There is hope. There is peace somewhere. There is love. There's all those things that we talk about during this season that really are throughout the year, but we highlight this season in the Christian calendar year.
Yeah.
And I love it.
That's so good.
Yep.
Oh, love it. Well, hopefully you all can think, what can surprise me?
What can surprise me in the next month?
Yes.
What small thing will be there to surprise me?
And if anything
Walk around with openness.
Yes. And if anything does, you can let us know. Message us on Instagram, email us, check out our website. All of it's an incomplete guide. And we look forward to the next couple episodes are going to be a little lighter. I think we talk about some holiday movies and then our non-resolution. Yes. Non-resolutions.
That's right.
I'm
all about it. So we look forward to next week when we take a breath and take a listen.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of An Incomplete Guide to Personal Growth. There are many ways you can stay connected. Follow us on Instagram at An Incomplete Guide Podcast, where you can sign up for our email list and get posts that delve deeper into our weekly topics. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast page wherever you listen to your podcasts. We would really appreciate a rating and sharing us with your family and friends.
We're so glad you chose to spend your time with us and hope there was a thought, a resource, or a laugh that you can take on your journey. We'll be here every Tuesday for you to take a breath and take a listen.